Hey B, what you up to?
Oh, just helping the Soul of Cinder recreate the Dark Soul.
I feel like I've got deja vu from. Wait, my wallet's empty.
I
No.
may have used your $20 for theory crafting.
God damn it, B!
In Dark Souls 3, there's not a single ending in which you properly relink the first flame. Why is this? Well, this is what we're exploring in normal mode, theory crafting. The first thing we're going to do is go back to Dark Souls 1 and explore the bonfires that have existed in every game. I'm going to tell you some secrets of them that might change your perception of them completely. To start, we'll cover the lore. A bonfire is a fire kindled using the body of an undead. This bonfire generally has an associated firekeeper. The job of a bonfire is simple: to burn humanity. Using the rite of kindling, you can burn more humanity to make the fire stronger. Finally, this burnt humanity pulls a strange substance known as Estus in the basin of the fire. Now replace the word humanity and stick Dark Soul in there, for humanity is a fragment of it. Suddenly, the bonfire has a completely new meaning. After the rekindling of the first flame, the undead first appeared with a strange mark on their body, a mark that consistently leaked humanity. This was known simply as the Dark Sign. It's a very common recurring item in the Dark Souls series. Burning humanity in a fire linked to the first flame made the fire stronger. This tells us that by burning the Dark Soul, by sacrificing it to the first flame, you can make the first flame last longer. So in the entirety of Dark Souls, the objective is to burn your humanity in the kiln of the first flame to rekindle it. But what does this mean? It means that over thousands of years in Dark Souls 3, the first flame holds nearly every fragment of the Dark Soul in existence. That is why the only hollows we see are the ones who have not turned into unkindled, and the ones who are in Londor, who refuse to kindle the flame, because they work for the Darkstalker Koth. At the end of Dark Souls 3, since you have no humanity left to burn, the first ending, the attempt to rekindle the flame, fails. And in the Lord of Hollows ending, the secret ending, the hardest ending to achieve, the unkindled compiles a nearly complete Dark Soul. Which is why, as the Dark Age falls, instead of being blinded without light, like they did in the Betrayal ending with the Firekeeper, he opens his eyes and sees in the moonlight. A new Dark Lord has risen, to take the place of the furtive pygmy who fragmented the Dark Soul so long ago. But what made all this possible? Well, there's something that a lot of people don't realize. Who is the Firekeeper for the first flame? Who compiles thousands of humanity waiting for that one person who brings the dark sigils to it and recompiles the Dark Soul? Who is the only other person that we know for a fact has dealt with Koth Darkstalker in the past, and has returned to the kiln of the first flame? That would be the Chosen Undead from Dark Souls 1, more commonly known as the Soul of Cinder. And I know right now you're thinking, oh, well, that's been debunked. He's all of the people who have sacrificed themselves to the flame. But he's not. Starting off, that was actually a translation error that says that. The Japanese translation is actually an excerpt from a scholar in the Dark Souls universe who says, it seems that this creature is an amalgam of all of the lords that came before it, starting with Gwyn. While the official translation says, this is an amalgam of all of the souls that came before it, which is extremely untrue from a meta point. If he were a true amalgam of all that came before it, he would have all of the souls of the lords that you obtained by killing the Lords of Cinder. If this were true, he would also have Aldrich's abyssal body, Yorm's giant-esque figure, Ludlith's lack of, well, legs. You get the idea. The Soul of Cinder takes from his victims, because the Soul of Cinder is the Firekeeper of the first flame. He takes their humanity and leaves nothing behind but a burning husk known as an ember. And we actually know this for certain. In the opening video, it shows the Soul of Cinder taking a husk to the untended graves after he was done draining its humanity. Because the Soul of Cinder also has another dark secret. He has the Life Drain. The ability to drain humanity from his victims, gifted to him from the Darkstalker Koth in Dark Souls 1. The Chosen Undead has been collecting humanity for thousands of years, rebuilding the Dark Soul for the Dark Lord to achieve. The Chosen Undead can no longer do it because he's bound to the first flame as Gwyn was, but the unkindled ones are empty husks just waiting to be filled. And that is what they mean by amalgam. The art of life drain allows one to take somebody's humanity and pull it into their body, meaning that he takes the power from all of those before him. In Dark Souls 1, the Chosen Undead could be a master of every form of combat, just as you can in Dark Souls 3. And we openly see this in the battle against him. In the end, what this means is that by taking the dark sigils from Yol and Anri, you regain the ability to pull humanity within your body. Which means that when you kill the Soul of Cinder, you take the first flame and all of the humanity that is within it, and you devour it. Which is what truly recompiles the Dark Soul within your body. And we know this for sure, because after you get the Dark Sigils, you begin to hollow. You begin to show the true face of man, because once again you are undead and not unkindled. And would you look at that, we still have like 3.5 minutes left, so we're going to answer some really commonly asked questions about this theory. One common argument is, well, that's impossible. Some things can't be undead. But let's look at it. Gwyn was undead. So was Gwendolyn, and so is possibly Guinevere. We know this because we killed both of them. One we absorbed, and the other we didn't, so he remains. I mean, we even find Gwyn hollowed at the end of Dark Souls 1. That is because hollowing is what happens when the fire is rekindled. Only after Gwyn rekindled the first flame did the undead begin to appear, did the first hollowing happen. Because hollowing is the true face of man, the true face of darkness. Only the light of the flame separates the humans from the pygmies. And the Dark Soul itself is undeath. These figures were brought back to life after death so they had another chance to smother the flame and bring about an age of darkness. It is the Dark Souls universe trying to rectify itself. It is a balance keeper. In Dark Souls 3, pretty much every creature in the story is undead except the ones that simply can't have the undead mark. The unkindled ones included in that. The unkindled ones only rise when the Bell of Awakening tolls. Otherwise, they are dead as a doornail in their coffins. And ironically, while they're dead, their bodies are that of the pygmies. You can see that by going to the untended graves and checking out your own body. Which, ironically, you steal your own Estus ring from. Another question, why would they send you after the Soul of Cinders if all of it was pointless? We must remember that the lords have gone without their thrones, and the previous lords had never actually sacrificed themselves for the flame. The Farron watchdogs sacrificed their wolf's blood. Aldrich sacrificed all the humanity he had eaten from the millions of people. And Ludlith simply willed the flame to rekindle, however that works. Unlike you, they had a body left afterwards because they were beings of immense strength who used a substitute in place of their own humanity. And they still died and returned to their coffins. The Firekeeper sending you to retain their embers was their last-ditch effort to rekindle the first flame. Using the Firekeeper's eyes, the Firekeeper discovers that it's all for naught, that it is all in vain, and that the Ashen One attempting to rekindle the flame will not work, which is why she decides to help you in the betrayal endings. For we must remember that the entirety of the rekindling process was brought about by Frampt the Kingseeker, and the eyes of the first Firekeeper are far before the prophecy became famous. So thanks again for tuning in to Normal Mode Theory Crafting. We really rushed trying to fit this into 10 minutes, and we're probably going to go a little bit over, but we hope that you enjoyed our theory and will think about it in the future. Please share it, even if you disagree, argue against it. We would love to have all of the community's responses, especially those interested in Dark Souls. And if you haven't played it, sorry for all the spoilers. Good luck out there.